Alright, this is the first of the Word tutorials. This one's called L1 Designer because it's all about design. We're going to make this Word document look good. So we're going to use the Home, the Insert, the Design and the Page Layout tabs all together, and hopefully most of this is pretty easy for you. I expect it to be, but I'll go through it all anyway just in case. So what I want you to do is just do exactly what I do for this tutorial. Alright, first up we need to have a heading, so I'm going to use this text, the honey badger, by highlighting it. And I'm going to press Ctrl C, because shortcut keys are always better than right clicking and saying copy. And now I'm going to enable this little button up here, which is the show hide paragraphs. So if I click that, I can see where all my spaces and paragraphs are. This won't come out on the print preview, but it'll help us with our formatting. So we're going to click to the very start and press enter, and then we'll press Ctrl V to paste as opposed to right click. Now right clicking and choosing these paste options can be useful later on if you want to keep the original formatting of where you're copying from or that kind of thing, but for now we're just going to use Ctrl V. Highlight that, we're going to up the size, make it bold, put it in the middle, and I think we'll even change its color just to prove we can do all these things. Alright, next up we're going to modify some of these pictures. Double click on a picture and voila, we get the Format tab that opens up. You'll notice if I click away, the Format tab disappears up here, but if I double click on an image, we get the Format tab. Now what I want to do, generally speaking, if you want to make your pictures sit well, you want to change the text wrap options, because at the moment it's just sitting in line, and if I press enter it'll move down, but I can't really move it where I want it. You'll notice if I click and try and drag it, nothing will happen. So if I double click it, go to text wrap, if I choose tight, and now it's a free floating object. Okay, so I can put that anywhere I want. Okay, so I'm going to shrink it a little bit by grabbing the corner, and that'll do. We'll put that just there. And I don't like how the edges are so sharp, so what I'm going to do is go up here under these options and see soft edges. I'm going to do that and it'll make it smoothly transition into the background there. Okay, now we got our next image here, and this one, well, there's a lot of edge and not much honey badger. So what we're going to do is we're going to crop it. So using the crop function just up here, we're going to grab these black little lines and we're going to drag it across. And now once you're done, you just press enter and it's been cropped. Just say you want to change that, you can just go back to crop and it remembers where you originally were. You can change it back if you wanted to, but we're not gonna. Okay, and once again double click on that, go text wrap, change it to tight so we can move it where we want. Okay, so now we've got pictures that can be moved wherever we want, and we're even going to put soft edges on this one. Okay, now not much of a poster at the moment because it's in portrait, so we're going to change that. So our page layout looks kind of rubbish. If we go to page layout, orientation, change it to landscape, it looks a little bit more like a poster now. So we're going to move our pictures around. Now obviously we just got text all strewn out here. It doesn't look very neat, so we're going to change our font size and our font types and add some dot points and that kind of thing to make it a little bit easier for people to read. Okay, so there's the first point. We're going to press enter, and don't worry about our pictures, we'll fix them later. Enter again. Pretty much we're just looking for where it has a full stop. So they're all little dot points, all little bits of information about the honey badger. So what we're going to do now is create little text boxes for them so they'll float wherever you want them. So we're going to go to the Insert tab and we're going to go with text box. Choose Draw Text Box and draw a box. That'll make our text box, and then you highlight what you want and paste it in it. Although you can also highlight what you want first, then go to Insert Text Box, and it just knows to put the text box around that text that you've selected. So there are a few different ways you can do that. We're going to put all the diet related comments into one box and all the other comments into another. So they are also carnivorous and will eat insects and frogs. Well, that sounds like what they're eating. Honey badgers like honey, no kidding. Let's put that in there as well. Primarily carnivorous. We might put that in there with it as well, up top. And then this content here. Let's just have a look at that, grab the edge of the box. And now we're just going to rearrange it all. Now you'll notice we've also got these black outlines. They don't look so good. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to hide those. So if we double click on the box, it comes up with the format options just like it did with the picture. And in this case we can go with shape outline. We don't want one, so we're just going to tick no outline. Okay. Alternatively, we could make a shape fill. Could make some kind of color in the background, and we might do that later. But for now, we're just going to leave it. Okay, we'll turn this one off as well. No outline. And generally speaking, to make your text easier to read, you're going to change the paragraph options. So if you put justify on, the text all aligns up to the edges nice and straightly. So we're going to use justify. That makes it easy to read. Most novels and that kind of thing that you read, they've been justified. It makes it a little bit easier on your eyes. And we can do the same here as well, using the justify option. Now we're going to add some dot points. And some dot points to this one. And we need to add some little subtitles to this now as well. So up top, and we're going to write up here description. And we're going to make that slightly bigger because it's a heading. Make it 14 and bold. And notice that makes this a bit bigger, but that's alright. We just can just adjust it. And we'll make this one diet. 14 and bold once again. Change the heading to a different font. That would be great. There we go. And I'm just going to choose this Verdana one. And I might put some capitals for Honey Badger just because it's a heading. It looks fancy. Now that our poster has been arranged neatly, we are ready to start adding colors and that kind of thing. Right, now that our layout's looking a little bit more pretty, we're going to add some colors to this. Now it's important when we're choosing colors that we don't choose colors that will clash. So generally speaking, you have a dark color on a light background. If we go to design, you'll notice we got these colors, and you can pick colors that'll like match themes and that kind of thing. So you can choose colors and it will make complementary colors for you. But in this case, we are just going to go with page color, and we're going to pick something else. If you're making something that be printed, this option might not work so well because sometimes printers won't print the background color, and other times the edges might get clipped out because printers often can't print right to the edge of the paper. But if it's just to be presented on screen, then coloring your page is generally a nice thing to do. So in this case, my text is quite dark, so I want to pick a background color that's quite light or washed out. So I'm just going to go with this sort of light yellow gold accent here. You can pick any of these lighter colors up the top here. I don't mind which one you pick, but I'm just going to go with this one because honey badgers, I don't know, I figured yellowy color works. And page borders, well, I'm not a big fan of borders personally. I think they kind of look rubbish, but if you really want, we might just put one on just to show that we know how. Though I'm not a huge fan of borders generally speaking, I don't like them. Alrighty, now let's make our text stand out a little bit more. If we double click on that box, we're going to get some shape fill happening. We'll go with a lighter color, maybe accented orange, that'll do. Now, I don't like the way it's so sharp once again, so I'm going to soft edge that as well because soft edges just make things very seamless. So if we go shape effects, soft edges, I'm going to go with this 5-point soft edge. That sort of makes it a bit smoother in its transition. And this one, diet, I'm going to change that color as well. Even though this probably doesn't look that great, but I'm just doing it so everyone has a go at changing colors and that kind of thing. And the same deal, we're going to change the picture effects and we're going to go with this soft edges. we've got all these other options, but I don't think they're really going to work for what we're doing right now. But you can have a play with them another time. Soft edges, go back to 5 points. Okay, so we could make a few other things like shapes. Most of you should know how to do that. I'm going to put it on but then delete it because I don't think they look so good. There it is, the honey badger. But I'm pretty sure most of you have used shapes before. You can rotate it using this little rotation option. So I'm not going to use them. That is all for this tutorial. Save your work as L1 Designer. Lesson done.